Hello, I'm Patricia McNeely. I am a Blu-ray twin flame from Chicago, Illinois. How are you today? So here we are. Happy equinox, happy fall, and happy spring to everyone. We got a lot to talk about. A lot of the big push that happened after the solstice is going to start popping into our physical realities, and a lot of it's a good thing. It's going to bring much needed changes. It is still pushing people out of their comfort zones of being complacent or thinking somehow somebody else is going to fix it, do it, whatever. And this has been one of my major complaints about this whole ascension, because I used to say things like, what if you threw in ascension and nobody showed up? What if you're doing all these great things, but people are like, eh, and they don't know their own part in it? And yet people are being pushed. It's welling up from inside, because that is always the place that true transformation takes place. It's not always the fight. In fact, a lot of us have to get rid of our inner warriors and become the lover again, to do things with love or a loving touch or a softer way or a more practical way or a less destructive way, whatever it is. So we're still in this energy of breakups, breaking away, and I keep getting musical signals because that is how I get things when it's, any kind of energy. It shows up sometimes with a tune, with some lyrics, different signals, signals from the weather, signals from the animals, and saying goodbye is not an easy thing. But sometimes it's important. It reminds me of sometimes when people graduate, they leave their grammar school, they say goodbye. They say goodbye to certain comfort levels, certain teachers, and then high school's like a whole different arena. There's more challenges, there's more expectations. People feel different. People are going through physical changes. And that is an analogy for a lot of this ascension. And there are people that don't believe that they're twin flames, or they started off being a twin flame and then thought like, nah, I don't think I want one of those. I'm just going to ditch this whole thing. It doesn't matter who you thought it was attached to. The difference is it's attached to you. And it's time to reconnect with why you're really here, what's going on, why to begin with, and getting yourself to a new level. And that sounds really hokey if I say it like that. Get yourself to a new level. Da, 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 da. No, you need to break up with the old paradigm and actually live it day after day after day. Because being spiritual doesn't mean like you're trotting over just to, once a year to Mount Shasta to partake in something. Being spiritual and being the person of a high heart means you're doing it every single day to the best of your ability, not turning it on and not turning it off. Just like it doesn't work if you turn it on to go to a temple and worship the gods, and then you turn it off when you're out there driving. That doesn't cut it anymore. How do you do this so that it's natural? It is through the integration of your brand new connections, and there's brand new chakras. So a lot of people just become aware and they say things like, oh, well, I'm working on this chakra. And then, one chakra becomes the extension of it does this and it does this and it does this and it does this and it does that. And how do you merge it all together? You've actually already merged, because that started, it had to start even before you ended up here where you are right now. This isn't about narcissism, it's about ending narcissism. This isn't about politics, it's about ending the politics that actually started in ancient times and have, had sort of a grip on people for a long time, and allowing, the constructive, organized structures to transform so that they can actually support more people and not just a limited amount of people. This is about love. So that's what love does. And I love when people find loving solutions. I have found a loving solution to help people get into the lives that they really want to be in, to get into that level where your health improves. And you can only really do it in the top way if you are connecting to 5D. So, when we have some things going on here and there's emotions involved, it makes people do things maybe not the right way. Everyone can do stupid things when they're emotional. We do things we regret. We've all done things from the past that we regret, that are emotional, or we feel wounded, or our feelings are hurt, or we have something we've misunderstood somehow. And we're going to see the pendulum swing this way and swing that way until it kind of finds its middle ground. Everything is trying to come into a state of balance. But to still the war inside, you have to focus on yourself. To stop the revolution inside you, you have to start with yourself. To find your level of peace and harmony, it has to start within yourself. To find a balance with anything else, whether it's your weight, your family's history, it has to start with you. And I want to give you a different perspective, that this stuff is happening because some of you are the front runners. Some of you are the pioneers. You're ready to receive the template of relationship that us blue rays have prototyped. And it's been a laborious task to do a lot of that. How it works for me is it's like an echo. It's like an echoed reflection of a really grave thing that I have to find my way out of. Sometimes it's a really big thing. It's like finding my way through a corn maze and using my guidance, using my senses, and using my ninth dimensional connections. Not just fourth dimensional, not just fifth dimensional, not the astral plane. No, getting myself above that so that I'm really getting to the clarity and the healing power that will shift it, transform it, obliterate it. So there's a lot of things people are focusing on that they're breaking up with. Breaking up with people, breaking up with organizations, breaking up with neighborhoods, breaking up with systems, breaking up and watching the breakdowns of things. So breaking away, stepping away, that's a part of it. You are leaving the old paradigm, and with it, you'll have a sense of the old times, the good times, the camaraderie, the groups that, kind of clung together and actually enjoyed each other. A tribe that can enjoy each other and laugh together and not be turned against each other. Because as we know, a house divided amongst itself will fall. And that's something that, dark and negative things have realized. Mentalities that are negative have realized if they just, find the chink in the armor, just find that weak spot or pit people against each other, then it's going to fall apart. But we don't have to do that anymore. We are all in this together. Earth is a system of herself in the sense that there's an ecosystem. Water evaporates, rises up in the form of clouds and steam, and then it rains down falls down as rain and replenishes, it rinses things clean. There's too much water in some places, there's too much fire in other places, and even that has to balance. How it balances, though, is through the people who have those proper grid point connections within them. This is why I say going to one part of the planet, like if I use Mount Shasta as an example, that might be fun, but that place has already been established. Who's establishing, other places? So I came across something really interesting that really sort of inspired me, where I realized that in a very maybe simple way, we've all been borrowing each other's sweetness. And that might sound really, really hokey, like borrowing each other's sweetness, but we have. It's time to give it back. Okay, we can't keep things that truly belong back to other people. We can't allow them to keep things that truly belong back to us. And so I had a sense of this actually when I was going through my own divorce. I was very upset. I was going through massive anxiety, couldn't breathe. I was actually reminding myself to breathe. A part of me was dying because of the breakup. And I could feel it. I could feel it all over my chest. And I was no stranger to that because I've had asthma since I was a child. I was put in the hospital at 6 months old because I couldn't breathe. My parents would have to hold me in steam so that I could get relief to breathe. So I'm an old hand at getting myself to breathe. This was different. This was a breakup and a breakdown like I couldn't even believe. And I said, why? Why? We keep arguing. There's no reason to keep this together. What am I hanging on to? But what happened was, as I told myself to breathe, I started noticing something. It felt different. And I was actually paying attention to myself, and I got a lot less scattery. Okay. Now that in and of itself didn't fix it because it still didn't open up my channels to a higher level of breathing that I've since learned how to do. And I teach it. But what happened was, as the result of that, years later, I was able to recognize the signs of what happens to people when they go through these things and to help them through it and really get it broken down so that they can do steps to step out of it. So it doesn't matter why someone is breaking up or they're having a breakdown. The mechanisms are very similar each and every time. When it's a love breakup, though, there's all kinds of things that come up and they well up inside people. Their sense of self-worth, their self-esteem, how they identify. Are they a good person? Were they a good Catholic? Were they a good Muslim? Were they a good Jewish person? How does all this stuff all tie in? Well, it's in us. It's a part of those patterns that are just layered in all of us. So there's other things that I realized, and there's a real telltale song that is very popular. It's got like 300 billion plays, and it's about, a breakup. And it goes like this. I'm going under, and this time I fear there's no one to save me. This all or nothing really got a way of driving me crazy. I need somebody to heal, somebody to know, somebody to have, somebody to hold. It's easy to say, but it's never the same. I guess I kinda like the way you numbed all the pain. Now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not there to get me through it all. I let my guard down, and then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you loved. I'm going under, and this time I feel there's no one to turn to. This all or nothing way of loving got me sleeping without you. Now I need somebody to know, somebody to heal, somebody to have, just to know how it feels. It's easy to say, but it's never the same. I guess I kinda like the way you help me escape. Now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. I let my guard down, and then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you loved. And I tend to close my eyes when it hurts me sometimes. I fall into your arms. I'll be safe in your sun till I come back around. And now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. I let my guard down, and then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you love. So you see, there's some very revealing things in here. Like the way you numbed all the pain. Getting used to being someone that they loved. Like the way you helped me escape. So what are those things revealing about this situation? Something very revealing. They didn't love themselves. This was a very codependent relationship, no matter how much it hurts. So I'm here to tell you some of the reasons that people break up is self-reliance, is coming back to yourself. Now, being dependent on someone for your sense of self, we've all had that mirror throughout history of seeing ourselves reflected through the eyes of others, of seeing ourselves how we are, what they think our personalities, giving us a way to test things out because we have learned nothing except through making mistakes. You learn nothing about relationships by doing it perfectly. You learn from trial and error. It is the only way we've ever learned. It's the way that I've learned things. It's the way that I've improved my next relationships. It's the way I've mended my fences. It's a way to heal and get a relationship back. And it is the way that we're all going to have to do it, to get to know ourselves, to find the inner love and care about ourselves, and not just worry about like, well, what's that person doing or what can they do for me? Yeah, we're going to let our guards down. I've let my guard down. People have hurt me. People have actually physically beat me up. Yes, I have been. Can't tell by looking at us some of the stuff that we've been through. I haven't had it as bad as other people, and I've had it worse than other people. I've been being kicked out of that dimension for decades, and I'm glad to see it go finally. So I say, let's get everything up here to the level where it belongs, so that people are actually, so that those dreams that we've had of like, hey, you know, what if it's a harmonious place? You know, people are like realizing who they are, their gifts, their talents, their skills. That has been a beautiful thing for me to see on people's journeys, is when they start feeling themselves and it just starts popping out of them, and suddenly they have a new career or a new calling that is so suitable for them. They have a new relationship that cares about them. Not some of this crap that people are mulling about over. People are getting hung up in the things of the mind when we need to be focusing on the next level of the heart. And I'm sorry if this sounds like a lecture, but I'm going to keep saying it again and again and again and again, because it's one of the mistakes we make here. We do need to analyze things to an extent. We do need to label it sometimes so that we can get help, or people can get medicine, or people can direct other people and say, oh, you're suffering from this, go in this direction, or call this number, or something like that. But if you want to cut to the chase, if you want to really jumpstart that, if you want to accelerate it using your 5D divine connections and not the mind, then it's time to come and see me. So everyone wants to be held tight. Everyone wants to be touched. These are some of the lessons this year. What do you value? Do you value education? Do you value teachers? There was a time in my 7th grade class, The boys, sorry boys, but boys terrorized the teacher in the class. They threw things at her. She couldn't get a word of teaching in. She had to become like, she just rolled over on it. She was not aggressive with them. They just took advantage of the situation. That kind of stuff happens. Do we value teachers? Do we value our time off? Do we value our national parks? Do we value clean air? Do we value nutritious food? Do we value the things that we want for our children? Now, I know to an extent there's going to be a group of people that they're like, yeah, I don't care. This will be over. This will blow over. But even they will get this wake-up call. If they're not getting it this year, they're on the wake-up schedule for next year. Don't even worry about them. Focus on you. Focus on you, because they get you back in touch with the love that you're really here for. What you are really here for is the unification of your brand new template of relationship from 5D. That's what you're really here for. So don't give up. Give up on the ghost and don't give up on yourself. Okay? There's another song I got. Don't take your love away from me. Don't you leave my heart in misery. 'Cause if you go, then I'll be blue. 'Cause breaking up is hard to do. Remember when you held me tight and you kissed me all through the night. Think of all that we've been through, thousands of years of lives, 'cause breaking up is hard to do. They say that breaking up is hard to do. And now I know that it's true. Goodbye, ancestry. Don't say that this is the end of karma, because it is. Instead of breaking up, I wish that we were making up again. Can we all just kiss and make up? Okay, can we give our love another try? Come on, baby, let's start anew. 'Cause breaking up is hard to do. Break up with the karma. You get the picture? So if you want some help with that, join one of my classes, have a session, check out my websites. They are brand new. Everything is being updated because this is a brand new decade. We're in it to win it. And it's time. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe. Please let me know if you like this. I've been super busy trying to take care of so much stuff. It isn't even funny, my health stuff. I believe in being on top of it. Don't ignore yourself. Pay attention to you because you are loved very deeply. Bye now.